Rise and shine. Hi, God. Thanks for the shine. Seriously. Yo, so check this out, right? Look at what I have on the screen right now. I have this cool word. Check it out. It's called Itowi, man in the maze, right? Man in the maze, right? So, you know, I got this bit right here from my man Ephesians, right? 6:12, you know, because he sent out a shout out, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks like fun, man. Let's go ahead and do some work, bro. Right? You know, so this one is going out for you, right? You know, so check this out, man. I'm going to show you some words and I'm going to show you a flow. All right, ready? Here we go. Right, you know, so this is a cool image right here, man. The man in the maze, man. This is like what we're all doing right now, all right? Check it out. Here we go. O-Od-Ham, right? O-Od-Ham, right? These are a group of people in America, right? Namely Arizona, right? You know, but these are some ancestors right here, man. You know, so this one's for you, okay? We're going to hang out, and I'm going to show you guys some cool words, man. You know, once you get these words down, they're going to be so much fun. They're going to make you free, man. They are going to make you free, okay? Let's keep it going. Right, you know, so I had to go into the Infogalactic, right, because I was like, I don't know what these people are, right, you know, so then I looked it up, and then I found the Itowi, right, and then it showed me a cool legend, man. So check out this legend, man. I'm going to just read the words, man. You can let these words just sit, right, because I'm going to lay these tracks down, right? Ready? Check it out. The world was made by Earthmaker out of the dirt and sweat which he scraped from his skin. The flat earth met the sky with a crash like that of falling rocks, and from the two was born Aitowi, the protector of Papagos. I like that word. He had light hair and a beard. Aitowi, an earthmaker, shaped and peopled the new world, and they were followed everywhere by Coyote, who came to life uncreated and began immediately to poke his nose into everything. What are you doing, Coyote? In this new world was a flood, right? And the three agreed before they took refuge that the one of them who should emerge first after the subsidence of the waters should be their leader and have the title of elder brother, all right? It was Earthmaker, the creator, who came forth first, and Aitowi next, but Aitowi insisted on the title, and took it. Man, that's rude, right? He didn't even follow the word. Aitowi brought the people up like children and taught them their arts, but in the end he became unkind and they killed him. But Aitowi, though killed, had so much power that he came to life again, man, resurrected, all right? Then he invented war. He decided to sweep the earth of the people he made. He needed an army, and for this purpose he went underground and brought up the Papagos, right? They live in a land scattered in imposing ruins which belong to the Hohokum, the people who are gone, right? Aitowi drove them, some to the north and some to the south. Aitowi had a song for everything. Though his men did the fighting, Aitowi confirmed their efforts by singing the enemy into blindness and helplessness. Aitowi was retired from the world and lives a little old man in a mountain cave, or perhaps he has gone underground, man. That's a cool story. I like that story. That's fun, man. Thank you. That was a cool, see, that was the cosmology of the O'odham people, right? You know, and then the mischievous creator god, who now resides in a cave below the peak of Baboquivari Mountains, you know, part of the Tohono O'odham nation. That's cool. I like that, man. All right, so check it out. Let's keep it going. Right, so what is O'odham? I had to look this up, man. And then I had to see what the O'odham peoples are, including the Tohono O'odham. I hope I'm saying that right. The Pima, right? The Pima people. Oh, okay. Or Akimel O'odham and the Hiii O'odham, or an indigenous Uto Aztecan, people of the Sonoran Desert in a southern and central Arizona. Shout out, what's up? And northern Sonora, united by a common language, so you share one language, the O'odham language. That's cool. Okay, so this is about the Pima, right? You know, because, you know, the Pima, I guess, is the modern term for these O'odham people, right? You know, so that's what's up, okay? So this is what I'm talking about right now. So I'm building something right now, right? This is going to be a notice. This is going to be a video notice, and it's going to go for the people, right? So Odham, listen up, man. This one's for you, all right? Let's keep it going, right? So we always want to set our boundaries up, right? Remember, our boundaries are scary simple, right? Remember, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, right? So when you look up, God created that. When you look down, God created that. When you touch your body, God created that. Once you understand that, you're going to be free, man. Scary, simple service, right? All right, let's keep it going, right? Check this one out right here. Another boundary setting. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, right? And fear means try. Fear means risk, right? So once you try the Lord, and Lord is power. My Lord is Christ, right? My Lord is God, right? That's who I serve, right? That's where I get my knowledge from. But remember this. But fools despise wisdom, and fools despise instruction, right? So a fool just means you're blowing all over the place, man. So if you don't listen, we know you're a fool, right? Because if you're just going blah, 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 and you don't listen to the knowledge, then that means that we know that you don't fear the Lord and you don't try the Lord, and things might happen to you, man. Remember that. When I say not good, meaning bad things might happen to you if you despise wisdom, if you despise instruction, okay? So, come on, fools, man. We got to get it together, okay? We got to get it together, and we got to try the Lord, man. Scary, simple service, right? Let's keep it going. Matthew, what's up, man? What's going on? All right, so check it out. This is what my man Jesus told me. Jesus is my Lord. So this is what he told me. And he said, yo, every man, every woman, all the people, these are the rules, man. These are the rules of the realm. It's super easy, right? Check it out. Here we go. Right. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. Simple, right? This is the first and the great commandment, right? So you got it? Got it good. Love the Lord with your heart, with your soul, and with your mind. Boom. That's cool. Here's the second one. The second one is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. What? Okay. So on these two commandments, only two, hang all the laws and the prophets, right? So two commands, man. Love God with your heart, with your soul, and with your mind. Done. And then love your neighbor like you love God, right? And love your neighbor like you love yourself. And then you're going to be cool, man. So when you look next door and when you look and you see other people wandering around, other men and other women, other children, love them. Love them like you love yourself. Love them like you love God, and everything's going to be fine, man. These are the only two rules you got to worry about when you walk around in this realm, man. Okay, let's keep it going. Thanks, Jesus. We love you, bro. All right, check out my man, Ephesians 6:1. Check this out right here, man. So put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, man. So the devil is always trying to divide you. Remember that. The devil is that entity, that energy, that spirit that whispers in your ear, and he says, do bad things, do bad things. Don't worry about it. That's the one where you need to put on that armor. You need to put that shield on God's property, right? And you're going to be cool, man. It's real easy. Just follow the rules, and the rules are what we just read, man. There's only two. Remember? Scary simple, right? Thanks, Ephesians. Right? Check this one out, too. Ephesians 6:1-2. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Remember that. But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places, man. Right? So you're not battling other men, you're not battling other women, you're battling principles, right? You're battling powers and rulers of the darkness, right? In the world, spirit, right? So these are things that you can't see, but they're out there because they make it hard for man. They make it hard for God's people, man. Remember that, man. So that's who we go to war with, right? We don't go to war with God's people. We go to war against spirit of darkness, man. Super simple, right? Spiritual wickedness, man. So if you're doing bad things, then we know what you're doing, man. It's real easy right now, man. Because we only got two rules, man. Love God, love yourself like you love God, love your neighbor like you love yourself, like you love God, man. Scary simple, right? Let's keep it going. Hey, God's people, what's up, man? Okay, so you guys can ride with us too, okay? Because we're just hanging out right now. We're just going to show you some words, man, because these words are going out, right? Because we're going to send this out to the whole world, man. The whole world's going to hear this, right? Ready? Here we go. Okay, so here we go. So we always like to hang out with the grand jury because the grand jury has a function, right? The grand jury is always going to investigate the operations, you see right here, investigate the operations of the various officers, departments, and agencies of local government, man. So we the people are the bosses of all local governments, of all corporations. We the people are their bosses, because that's how we set up this realm, right? Because that's what God said, man's on top. God's on top, man's underneath that, and then man, woman, child control everything else, man. It's really easy, so, please forgive me if I'm speaking really fast on that right now, man. It's just like, I know the flow, and I'm going to show you the flow, man, because it's a simple hierarchy, right? Because I just understand these things because of my military background, man. I was trained, to think like this by the Navy, right? And then I understand that there's a hierarchy, right? And then you just follow what the rules are in the hierarchy. The hierarchy is like any other corporation, and then you just know who the boss is. And God is my boss. Jesus is my boss, right? The Holy Ghost is my boss, right? So I follow what they say, and then boom, and then I go in and I instruct, right? It's real easy, man, because they just show me. They say, show the word, instruct with the word. I'm like, got it, good, okay, let's go. That's what we're doing with grand jury. Grand jury means great word. Remember that, great word, all right? Check it out. So here goes the order of God's realm. Super simple. We always have to start off with this, and this is why we call it a timeout, right? Because we got to get our bearings, right? Once we get our bearings, we're going to know what's up. Okay, so ready? Here we go. God created the world. Check. God created man, aka the people. Check. People created states. Check. People created constitutions. Check. People created governments. Check. Question. When did government become boss of the people? Okay, so we always going to try to answer this question. And in the end, we're going to find out what's up, okay? Let's keep it going. Right, so we always have to start off with the maxims of law, and we always want to start off with authority, power, servant, jurisdiction, right? Because we go right here at 11a, and it says a delegated power cannot be again delegated. Remember that. A deputy cannot have or appoint a deputy. Example. God gave me one body, right? So God delegated power to me to protect God's property, which is my body, right? So I cannot then delegate that power to another deputy and say, will you take care of my body? That's not true. I can't do that, man, because God said, hey, man, you only get one body, and that's yours to control, and that's what you have to delegate, because that's where God lives. God lives, the spirit lives within the body, within the flesh, and you must control it, right? You cannot delegate this to another power, man, and once you do that, we know that you messed up, man. Just remember that. You're breaking the rules. You're breaking the law, man. Scary simple service, right? We're showing you what's up right now with the words, right? Here's another one we love. Maxim, right? Here's guardian. We love this one. Inheritance, minor, legal capacity, right? But we're always looking at 53C because this is what it's all about. If a guardian do fraud to his ward, he shall be removed from his guardianship, right? Example. God said, guard God's property. The body is God's property, right? Okay, so you must guard it, right? You must follow the rules that God has given to us, right? And if you don't, if you cheat it, because fraud means cheat, and when you cheat, that means to take away, right? So if you take away something from God's property and God, right, he shall be removed from the guardianship, right? So you're going to be removed, right? So if you give up guardianship, if you commit fraud and you cheat God's property, it's going to be removed from you, right? And then you might not like who becomes the next guardian, right? Because they might not love you like how God loves you, and they will probably treat your property, meaning God's property, in a very bad way, man. One of those ways is like they might try to put things on your face or put things inside your body or make you do things that you just don't want to do, man. Right? Remember that. Scary simple service, okay? So check this out. Here's another one. Oath, right? Here's another one. Oath. There is no stronger link or bond between men than an oath. Remember that, right? The oath is your word, right? So when you say you're going to do something, when you say I will protect, I will guard, I will cover, you got to do that, man. And if you don't do that and you break it, then you break in the bond, man. And our word is bond, man. So whatever it is that we say, you have to follow those rules, man. You have to follow the word, man. It's all about the word. Remember, it is a bond. This is what binds us. This is called contract, okay? Scary simple service. All right, let's keep it going. Here we go. All right, maladministration. Hey, what's up, bad small master? See, that's what maladministration means, right? It means mal means bad. Administer means minister. Minister means small master, right? So that's why we're always saying bad small master, sit in the corner, right? But this is what the word for most people think it means right here. faulty or improper management of affairs, okay? You know, so here's an example of a bad small master, right? You know, so if like, say if you had like a chief, you know, a boss or something like that, and then the boss was in charge of a squad of people, and then the chief leads you in the wrong direction, and then all the people get harmed, right? Then we call that maladministration, right? We call that improper management of affairs. We call that faulty, man. We say bad small master, man. We're like, yo, chief, you know, you're being a bad small master, man, so we're going to take away your position right now, and we're going to go sit you in the corner because you're bad. You're doing bad things, man. You're breaking your oath, okay? Remember that, all right? That's an example of a bad small master. All right, let's keep it going. Treason. All right, so we always like to look for this word too, right? Because this is what we look for as grand jury, right? We look for treason. Treason means deliver, hand over, right? So if you deliver or betray the trust, if you hand over or betray the trust, if you deliver or breach the faith, if you hand over or breach the faith, and faith is the credit and credit is the heart, man. You know, so if you hand over the heart of the people, right, you know, to another entity, right, that we said that you cannot do, right, we call that treason, man. And it's really easy, right? So if you go against our wishes, if you go against your oath, we call that treason, man. So whatever it is that you say that you will defend, right, and if you break that, that's called treason, and we will get you every time. The grand jury will get you every time on treason, man. Scary simple service, right? Let's keep it going. Here's another one. Insurrection, man. We love these words. They're so much fun. Listen to how they sound. Insurrection, right? You know, but when you trace this word down, because we're always tracking words down to their origin, insurgere, right? To rise up. It's two words, right? Insurgent, right? You know, surge, to rise up, man. So that's what it's all about, right? See this right here? When you track it down right here, it says one who rises in revolt. So if you revolt and you try to go against something, we call that an insurgent. Here, this is what most people think it is. An uprising against civil authority, right? So if you try to go against the authority that we, the people, have created for you, you know, like through our contracts and through our constitutions, and then you go against that, and then you try to hand over our trust and you try to betray our trust, we call that treason, man. Remember that. It's scary simple, right? Okay, so check it out. Here we go. We got another one. Whoa, I missed one. Hold on. I gotta get one more. Right. Let me get one more. Right. So I always have to be complete, because the word, man, it's all about the word, right? You know, so we got war up here. Let's put it in order. Right. Let's put it in order. So boom. War is supposed to go after treason, right? So you got maladministration, you got treason, and then you got war. And then war is a real easy word, right? Because this is the kind of war that we look for. Not the pew-pews and the guns like that, right? We look for the war that means to confuse, right? You know, so if you try to confuse the people, we call that war. If you try to mix up the people, we call that war, right? You know, so like if you try to call the people not people and you try to call them persons, right? Or if you try to call them other types of names that aren't people, you know, or aren't man or aren't woman, right? Then we say you're bringing war to the people. That's called confusion. Another example of that one will be like every time you hear them say, we are, like our public servants is who I'm saying they, right? When they say, we're in a democracy. No, we are not. That is called war, right? Because you're bringing confusion, because we are in a republic, right? Of the people, right? That's what we're in. Nowhere in our constitutions does it say democracy. Demos means district. District means to divide, and divide, once you trace that down to it, gets to demon. So demon and divide is the same, man. You know, so that's why we're always saying, yo, are you being a demon, right? Because if you're trying to divide me right now and you're trying to confuse me, that's called war, bro, because we always want you to be one. Remember that. One people, one family. Scary simple, right? All right, let's keep it going. Right, so we did the insurrection and the insurgent, right? You know, so then you got to see that, right? Because that was the one who rises in revolt. So we got that in order, man. So this is the order of the operation that we always look for as grand jury. We look for maladministration, bad small master, are you not doing your job? We look for treason, right? So if someone is delivering the trust of the people to another entity, we call that treason. Scary simple, right? We look for war. War means to confuse. War means to mix up, right? So if you try to confuse and mix up the people with words, right, with not good words, with bad words, we call that war, right? You know, and then this is what we say is insurrection, because you are trying to rise up against the power, and the power is God, but then God is the people, right? Because God gave people control of everything, right? And then the people are the bosses of the realm, right? So if you try to go against the people and you try to insurrect the people, we call that war, we call that treason, we call that maladministration. Okay, got it good. Ready? Here we go. Let's get into some meat now, right? All right. Hey, Arizona. We were hanging out with Arizona, man, because, Arizona's got a cool constitution, right? So before we walk, right, we always have to have our preamble, because that's what preamble means, right? Check it out. Here we go. In the preamble says this: we, the people of the state of Arizona, grateful to Almighty God, high God, thanks for the shine, for our liberties do ordain this constitution, right? So this is letting you know what the hierarchy is right now. The people are on top of the constitution. God is on top of the people, and then the people control everything within this constitution. Remember that, right? So our public servants who swear an oath to this constitution are swearing an oath to the people, and by default are swearing an oath to God, right? Remember that, right? So there's an order. God's on top, people number 2, right? Everything else right here is what the people command, because that's what God said that we do. All right, let's keep it going, right? So here goes Article 2, Section 1 of the Arizona Constitution, right? We love this one. Remember, fundamental principles, reoccurrence 2. Those are some cool words, man, because that's always going back to the root. That's why I'm always showing the root of the word and where the root comes from, or the word comes from, because that is a fundamental principle, right? Each letter is a sound, right? And each sound is a word, and when you put it together, it has a meaning, and then you get to see what that word means, right? And that's how come we break down the words how we do, right? Because that's what God told us to do, right? So check this out. This is why we break down the Constitution too, because that's what God told us to do. Show the word. Scary simple, right? Here's the words, right? A frequent recurrence to fundamental principles, first principles, is essential to the security of individual rights, that's one right, and the perpetuity of free government. Perpetuity means into the future. On and on and on, man. So you always got to go back to the first principles, right? First principle is always going to be who created everything. God created everything, and then God said, man, you have control of everything. And then man was like, all right, cool. And then man becomes the people, and then the people wrote constitutions down, and then within our constitutions we wrote Declaration of Rights down, so that that way our public servants, called our administrators, right, they know what's up, man. So these are the rules that all of our administrators have to follow, man. And if they don't follow these rules, we say that you're a bad small master, and then we go put them on timeout and we put them in the corner, man. All right, scary simple service. All right, let's keep it going. All right, so here we go. We got Section 28, of the Arizona Constitution. Okay, remember this one, right? Treason against the state shall consist only in levying war against the state, or adhering to its enemies, or in giving them aid and comfort. Okay, remember that, right? So we just showed you what treason was, right? And the state is called we the people. So the people are the state, right? So every man and every woman, you are a single one state, right? And when you come together as a group and when you assemble, that's called a united state, right? And if anybody tries to bring war to you and they try to confuse you, right? If they try to confuse you, then you're like, hey man, you can't do that, right? You cannot do that, right? So then we call that treason, we call that war, right? So if you try to give aid, right, if you stick, so if our public servants are sticking, adhering to its enemies, and they're sticking to what our enemies are saying, right, or if they try to give our enemies aid and comfort, right, then we call that war, we call that treason, we call that insurgency, right? We say that you're a bad small master, right, and then we put you on timeout and we put you in the corner, all right? So that's what we do, man. So here, check this out. So I got some more that I'm going to read, so let me show you this right here first, right? So here goes the branches of the government, right? So we love this illustration, right? So this one's going out to God's people to remember this, right? Because it's super easy. Remember, God is up top, right? Man, woman, child are right here, and they're called the people, right? And then the people control the constitutions, because the people wrote the constitutions that then created our governments, right? That then created entities called agencies and stuff like that, right? That then created corporations, right? So that's the hierarchy, right? So Corporations are way down here, right? Any type of business or anything like that is way down here, right? You know, the government is right here, the Constitution is right here, and then the people are right here, and then God's right here, right? So if you remember this hierarchy, right, then you will know where you are, right? So if you have a corporation or some other type of entity, any type of entity that's beneath the Constitution, trying to tell you what to do with your body, right? Trying to tell you that you need to have something go inside your body, right? That is a no-no, right? That is a no-no because they don't have that authority, you know, and the reason being is because right here, right, before we walk in all constitutions, it shows what the hierarchy is, right? The people are the bosses of all constitutions. Remember that, okay? Remember that, right? So that's why we show this illustration right here, right? You know, is because we got to show you what's up, right? Because what had happened is that our teachers didn't teach us this in school, and now we the people have to come back and we have to teach each other this, right? Because this is what we do, right? Because you have to have a fundamental reoccurrence, right? Back to the principles. So whenever you go back to first principles, this is the first principle, right? You know, so I'm showing you what the hierarchy is right now, right? You know, this is the hierarchy, right? You know, God's on top. Man, woman, child, the people, number 2, right? And then the people created constitutions. Got it? Right? And then the constitutions created everything else that we operate, right? So all governments, all corporations, anything like that always has to have a constitution because those are the rules that the people, we the people have written for them to adhere to, right? So they are bound to these rules because they took an oath. They said, I swear by God that I will support and defend the Constitution. So help me God, right? So then once you say that oath, we got you on that oath, right? And then what that happens is that it allows corporations to be created, right? Because then the corporations can go ahead and function in the commercial world called commerce, right? And then they can go and they can have a market, right? You know, and then the government watches over the market, right? That's all they do. Government just watches over the market so then they can keep the market safe so we the people don't get harmed, right? Because we're bosses. We're the bosses up top on all constitutions, all right? You know, so check this out. You know, on time, how am I doing on time? It's like 26 minutes, right? You know, so Pima, right? You know, I'm going to read this I'm going to read this notice, right? You know, but I got to take a time out because I need to take a break because I was reading a bunch of fundamental principles, man. But, you know, I'm putting this out there, right? Because this notice is for the people, man. You know, see, it's for the Salt River, Pima-Maricopa Indian Community Notice of Maladministration, right? You know, so here we go, right? So right here, right, the O'odham, right, the O'odham people, right? Yeah, what's up? You know, so these are God's people, right? So these are God's people just hanging out. Look at this one right here. She got something on her. That's skills right there. Oh my God, I couldn't do that, right? So these people right here are God's people, right? You know, and God's people, we protect God's people, right? You know, and this is why we show you what the hierarchy is, right? So Pima people, right? You know, this is the hierarchy of the realm, right? You guys are always on top because you're the people, and then you guys control the constitutions, and then you guys control your governments, right? And everything like that. Your chiefs, right? You know, whatever type of organization that you created through a constitution that you guys assembled and came together and said, yeah, we want that, right? You guys are the bosses of that right now, right? You know, so what we're going to do is after our break, we're going to come back and then we're going to read the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community Notice of Maladministration, right? You know, because we're going to show you how to send notice to the agents, right? And then when you send notice to agent, it's going notice to principal, right? And notice to principal is notice to agent, right? So this is how we are going to bind your community servants, man. So you have a community of servants, right? Those servants are supposed to serve you, the people. And this is how you're going to show them how you're the boss, man. All right. So, you know, I'm going to pause. I'm going to hit this up. This is going to be part 1. And then part 2 is going to come by. And then we're going to finish it out, man, because that's just what we do. OK, you know, so I'll see you guys in a hot second, man. I got to go get some water, man. All right. I'll talk to you in the future. Bye. Yo, shout out to Pima people. Okay, so part two. All right, so we're getting ready to finish this off right here, man, because, you know, we have to read this notice, man, because this notice is power, right? You know, so once you get this notice, right, because this notice is going to be, this link for this notice is going to be in the description, right? You know, so every man, every woman, after you hear these words that we read, you are going to have a duty and an obligation to click on this link and read these words and sign these words, because if you agree with these words, then you will sign your name, right? You will put your name here, right? You will fill out everything that you need to fill out, right? And because that's what you have to do, right? Because you have a duty and an obligation to administer, to guard God's property, right? And that's your body, right? So you must guard God's property, because that's what you have to do, okay? All right, so ready, here we go. This one should be fun. All right, here we go. Me, right? The Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community Notice of Maladministration. Notice to agent is notice to principal, and notice to principal is notice to agent. Hold on. Ooh, excuse me. I, one of the people, come to you, servants of the people, as elected and appointed indentured trustees, that each of you may uphold your oaths of office, which binds you to provide due care. Okay, remember that. Let's keep it going. Arizona Constitution, Article 2, Section 2, Political Power, Purpose of Government. Section 2, all political power is inherent in the people, and governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed and are established to protect and maintain individual rights. Okay, remember that, right? Arizona Constitution, Article 2, Section 7, Oaths and Affirmations. Section 7, the mode of administering an oath or affirmation shall be such as shall be most consistent with and binding upon the conscience of the people to whom such oath or affirmation may be administered. Okay, let's keep it going. Take notice. The Constitution of the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community, SRPMIC, Oath of Office demands you to not only follow the Constitution of the community, but also the United States Constitution. As elected servants and indentured trustees, it is your duty to protect the people's constitutional rights, which are the supreme law of the land, man. Remember that, right? Salt River, Pima-Maricopa Indian Community Constitution, Section 6, Oath of Office. All right, here we go. Before any officer of the Salt River, Pima-Maricopa Indian Community enters upon the duties of his or her office, he or she shall take and subscribe the following oaths, okay? So these are the words that you guys say. I, state your name, do solemnly swear, affirm that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community and the Constitution of the United States, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and defend them against all enemies whatsoever, and that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of my office. All right, every one of you said that. Okay, let's keep it going. Take notice that your role as an elected trustee of the people has somehow been reversed to where you seem to believe you lead the people. You are a servant to act as trustee. Therefore, all the conflicts of interest and failures to follow the limitations outlined in the 51 constitutions are now causing distress and harm to the people. Therefore, we have returned to our rightful understanding and are ready to instruct you. Remember that, man. These are instructions right here, man. This is so much fun. Miranda v. Arizona 384 U.S. 436 1966. Check this out. Where rights secured by the Constitution are involved, there can be no rulemaking or legislation which would abrogate them. Remember that, all right? Take notice. This is fun, right? Each of you are infringing upon the rights and freedoms guaranteed to the people. You are also practicing civil rights discrimination, segregation, and depriving people of their right under color of law by forcing mandatory vaccinations for government employees or face employment termination, which has since occurred. Oh no, that sucks. You as a government entity are also coercing your community members to obtain vaccines through your vaccine incentive program. On June 30, 2021, the SRPMIC Council authorized a COVID-19 vaccine incentive program with the goal of increasing the enrolled SRPMIC members' vaccination rate. What? That sucks, right? The COVID-19 vaccine incentive program will provide enrolled SRPMIC members who have taken their vaccination $200 and the option for those taking the vaccination beginning July 23, 2021 to receive $200, right? Wow, that sucks. You are subject to having your actions restricted if your actions are not consistent with protecting the people's rights and freedoms. Remember that. And failure on your part to protect these rights is a breach of your trust indentured granted by the people and will be considered an act of maladministration, bad small master, and an attack on the people you serve. Remember that, okay? Take further notice, SRPMIC can be held criminally and financially liable for damages caused by COVID vaccine and or boosters. Vaccine companies are exempt. Remember, vaccine companies are exempt from any and all liability that may arise from a vaccine injury or death. But men and women who force, coerce, or convince or administer vaccines are not shielded from such liabilities. Emergency use authorization, EUA, for experimental vaccines such as every single COVID-19 vaccine hold no liability according to the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act, NCVIA, and the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, NVICP. What? That's cool. This was the impetus from the creation of the 2005 PrEP Act. The PrEP Act notes certain covered individuals not liable. Remember? Okay, let's keep it going. Take further notice. I declare that informed consent is both an ethical and a lawful obligation of medical practitioners in the USA and originates from the patient's right to direct what happens to his or her body. HIPAA regulations require informed consent to be obtained from the patient. EEOC requires informed consent be obtained as well. Man, you got a lot of rules right here. All right, let's keep it going. Please take further notice regarding mandates, recommendations of participation in an experimental program such as the COVID-19 vaccination effort. I, one of the people, declare that this program has government regulations in which the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Title 45 CFR Part 46, sets forth ethical guidelines for biomedical research. I state that it is forbidden to coerce, influence, or force any human being to take an experimental medical treatment and that fully informed consent is mandatory even when they volunteer. Okay, remember that. 42 U.S. Code, subsection 1983, civil action for deprivation of rights. I love this one. Every person who, under the color of any statute, ordinance, regulation, custom, or usage of any state or territory or other person within the United States or other persons within the jurisdiction thereof to the deprivation of any rights, privileges, or immunities secured by the Constitution and laws shall be liable to the party injured in an action at law, suit in equity, or other proper proceedings for redress of grievance. Remember that, right? All right, let's see what color of law is. Color of law, the appearance or semblance without substance of legal right, okay? Misuse of power possessed by virtue of state law and made possible only because wrongdoer is clothed with authority of state is action taken under color of law. Okay, you can't do that. That's called a no-no, right? Thanks, Black's Law. All right, let's keep it going. Take further notice, in addition to force and coercion, the SRPMIC vaccine mandate is in violation of the Rights Act of 1964, Title VII, also called 7, okay? Rights Act of 1964, Title VII. As amended, prohibits two categories of employment practices. it is unlawful for an employer, right, 1, to fail or refuse to hire or to discharge any individual or otherwise to discriminate against any individual with respect to his compensation, terms, conditions, or privileges of employment because of such individual's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin, or 2, to limit, segregate, or classify his employees or applicants from employment in any way which would deprive or tend to deprive any individual of employment opportunities or otherwise adversely affect his status as an employee because of such individual's race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Okay? 42 U.S. Code, subsection 200E, TAC 2A, right? Remember that, okay? Take notice. It is my demand to show clean hands. I, as one of the people, have all political power, never granted authority to anyone to force or coerce the people through programs or provisions, systems, are falsely presented at law, right? It is hereby my wish, order, and demand for all parties to give full disclosure of any program funds received from any government, state, municipal, town, or political subdivision as part of any program that granted authority to bring force, coercion, segregation, or discrimination upon the people in the public or private realm in regard to anything related to COVID-19 prior to and including 2020, 2021, and 2022, right? This includes all monies, including but not limited to payments of any kind that SRPMIC has or will receive from any governmental source based on employees who are vaccinated with EUA, experimental gene therapy, or any administrative process or healthcare procedure involving COVID-19. All right? Remember that. Do it. We want to see your clean hands. All right, check it out. Legal notice and warning. Please take further notice that we have a right to reform, alter, or abolish government or constitutions for our safety, and it would be against it would be against your oath and office to deny, infringe, or interfere with this right. This is seen in many of the 50 states' Bill of Rights, man. Okay, remember that, all right? 25 U.S. Code, subsection 1302, Constitutional Rights 128. Remember this, all right? A, in general, no Indian tribe in exercising powers of self-government shall, 1, make or enforce any law prohibiting the free exercise of religion or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition for redress of grievances. Okay? Let's keep it going. 2, violate the right of the people to be secure in their persons, house, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures, nor issue warrants, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or thing to be seized, man. All right, let's keep it going. 8, deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of its laws or deprive any person of liberty or property without due process of law, man. Okay, let's keep it going. This is so much fun. This is some fire right here. Salt River, Pima-Maricopa Indian Community Constitution, Article XII, also called 12. Bill of Rights, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Oh my gosh, you guys got a lot. All right, let's see what you're going to smack them with, right? No law shall be made under this Constitution or action taken by any officer of the Salt River, Pima-Maricopa Indian Community. Okay, listen up. 1, respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, right? You're starting to see this is starting to become redundant, right? It's the same, right? Or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people of this community peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. 2, depriving any person of life, liberty, or property, or to be expelled from this community without due process of law, as understood through the cultural experience of the people of this community. Okay? 3, violating the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures, nor issue warrants, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place searched and the person or thing to be seized. 10, man, this is like the same as the Constitution, all right? 10, denying to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of its laws consistent with the right of the people of the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian community to maintain the integrity of their culture and their community. All right, let's keep it going. Therefore, I wish for you to immediately remove all mandates, recommendations related to your COVID-19 policies or recommendations with awarded compensation. I wish for you to educate every one of your agents that they do not have any authority over the free people. If you believe that you have been given constitutional authority to deny the private rights of the people, please respond within 5 days with those provisions rebutting this notice point by point in the form of a sworn affidavit, right? Remember that you better swear, right? If you fail to respond or take decisive action to relieve the people based on the instructions above, you agree that you are knowingly, maliciously, and with full intent denying the rights of the people and ignoring the oath you made as a purposeful trespass. If you cannot prove that you are acting under constitutional authority, please take further notice that any denial of protection and maintenance of the people's individual rights is an act of maladministration, bad small master, treason, giving away our trust, and insurrection, rising up against the people. Failure to respond means that by acquiescence, you agree that all claims stated herein are true and correct without exception, okay? This notice is sent to you in peace and the love of Christ, that you may provide due care to those who have all political power. The people, all right? Remember that, man. You know, so you want to put your autograph down, you want to put the date down, right? And then you want to print this out, and then you want to send this to all of your public servants, man. You know, so this one right here is for the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian Community Notice of Maladministration, man. You know, so that's it, right? So we read this notice, right? So now that you've heard this notice, you have a duty and you have an obligation to click that link, and then now you must instruct your public servants, right? Because the Salt River Pima-Maricopa Indian community, right, you know that this is your public servant, right? And you must give them notice and let them know that they're being a bad small master, right? So if they're doing any of these things in here, they're being a bad small master, and you got to instruct them, okay? Scary simple service, right? All right, so let's keep it going. We're going to get our reps on right now, right? You know, so we always close out, right, with our reps, right? This is Matthew 6:24, right? Check these words out right here. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon, right? Remember that. You have to choose, man. You know, you have to administer God's property. You know, your body is God's property. You are the guardian of God's property, right? So if someone comes to you and they say, take this and do that with your body, and if it goes against God's wishes, right, and God says, that doesn't look like love, right, you know, that doesn't look like I'm loving my body, right, and then you go against those wishes, and that means you're serving mammon, right, and, you know, mammon means rich, mammon means gain, right, mammon is what we call the devil, man, that's you living backwards, bro, you know, so you got to choose, man, so it's up to you, you know, that's the rules of the realm, right, you know, the rules of this realm are, you get free will and you get to choose, right? You either serve God or you serve mammon. Scary simple service, right? Let's keep it going. Right, so we always like Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, right? Because it shows you who created you. Remember this, right? And God said, let us make man in our image. Thank you, God, right? After our likeness, and let them, meaning man, have dominion over everything, right? You know, so who said that? God said that, right? So in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, right? If you ever want to know who created you, you know, and then you look up into the sky and you're like, oh, God, you created me. Thank you, God, right? And then if you look down and you look at the earth and you're like, oh, God, you created the earth too? Thank you, God, right? You know, so when you walk the realm and you walk in the land and then you see all the fish and then you see all the birds in the air and all the cattle and everything over the earth and every creeping thing that's creeping on the earth, right? God said, hey, man, you got dominion over that. And man means woman too, right? You know, so man, woman, child has dominion from God over everything in the realm that we see, man. Remember that. And then our public servants fall in that jurisdiction, right? So, man, you have dominion over all your public servants, right? That's also called you have dominion over these entities too, right? The Salt River, Pima-Maricopa Indian community, right? So if you're a man, a woman, or a child, you know, you have dominion over this entity too, right? You know why? That's what God said, right? You know, so God said that, and then God created man in his own image. Remember that. Look in the mirror, right? You want to know what God looks like? Look in the mirror, right? Look in the mirror. Every man, every woman, you are in the image of God, right? You know, it's really simple because it says so right here. God wrote it down in the word, man. Scary simple. In the image of God created he, him. Male and female created he, them, right? You know, thank you, Holy Ghost. I know I got you too, man. You know, I got my squad, right? You know, so when God created the squad, right, you know, not the AOC squad, but the real squad, you know, when you got Christ, right, when you got Christ and you got the Holy Ghost and you got God, that's your squad, right? You know, so every man has a squad. Every woman has a squad, right? You walk with that squad walks with you, and that squad's going to always protect you, man. And then you're going to have to administer and you're going to have dominion, okay? Remember that, all right? Let's keep it going. Hi, Psalms 82:6. We love you too, man. So check this out right here. I have said, who said that? Big G is saying this right now. Ye are gods, little g, and all of you are children of the Most High, right? So remember that. Every man, every woman, every child, all of us people walking around the realm right now, we are family because we are all children of the Most High. We are all little G's because Big G is telling us that, man. Big G is saying, you're little G's, man. You're all children of the Most High, man. So when you want to know what the Most High is, just look up, right? Look up. That's the Most High. You come from that. You come from the stars, man. So all of you little G's that are wandering around, which you might not even know that you're a little G because someone might be filling your head up with other words saying that you're something else, man. But you are a star, right? Every man, every woman, every child, you are a star, right? You know, you are a star child, right? Because you come from the stars, right? Because when you look up, what do you see? Stars, right? So if you come from there, right, then that's what's up, man. Because we all know that because that's what Big G told us, okay? You know, so this is for you, family. You know, all my brothers, all my sisters, all my cousins, all men, all women, all children. We're all the same, man. Remember that. Same. One family. Scary simple, right? All right, let's keep it going. John 1:1, what's up, man? We love you. Okay, so John 1:1, we love hanging out with John 1:1 because of this right here. Check it out. In the beginning was the Word, right? And the Word was with God, and the Word was God, right? Word, God, Word. Scary simple, right? So when you hear that sound, when you hear that frequency going through, we call those words, man. That's called vibration, right? You know, when you hear that vibration, that's called God, right? I mean, you can't see it, but you know it's there. An example of it is the vibration, the frequency of the word is God, man. And then when God says something and you can hear that word, you know what's up. And then once you know that that word is good, right, you know what's up, man. And you got to follow the word because in the beginning was the word, in the beginning was God, and then you're done, man. Scary simple, right? Thanks, John 1:1. We love you, man. You know, so let's do our time out. Time out, right? Time out. Remember, we always got to show you the order of the realm. The order of the realm is God created the world, check. God created man, aka the people, check. People created states, check. People created constitutions, check. People created governments, check. Question, when did government become boss of the people? Answer, never, ever. God is the boss of the people, and the people are the bosses of all governments, and then the people are the bosses of everything that the government controls, man. Remember that, okay? Remember that, right? Because you got it right here. Where is the hierarchy? Remember this, right? God is up top, right? Man, woman, child, you're right here, right? You know, and you're called the people, and then the people created constitutions, and then the constitutions created governments, right? And then the governments created entities that help the government out, right? And then underneath that is a jurisdiction where all the businesses work in, all the corporations work in right here, right? You know, so remember, the people are up top, God is on top of the people. That is the hierarchy of the realm, man. Scary simple service, right? You know, so that's it, man. You know, the Iitowi, man in the maze, man. You know, so we just walked through the maze with some words, bro. You know, so that was fun, man. You know, I like this bit, man. I mean, you know, because we just got to show you guys what's up, man. You know, and then we got to learn about you, man. We got to learn about the O'odham people, man. You know, so this one's for you. You guys gotta go fill out this notice, man, and then you put this notice into your public servants, because you guys are the boss, man. You're the people, right? You guys are the people, man, and we're all one people, right? You know, you got beautiful culture, right? We love it, right? We love what you guys do, right? But remember, you're one people, right? Remember that, right? Because I'm gonna show you. The rules are simple. Where are the rules, right? We got that one right here, right? You know, remember, you just gotta love God with your heart, with your soul, and with your mind. Simple rule, right? And then what you got to do after that is you got to love your neighbor like you love yourself, right? So once you love God, right, with everything, and you love your neighbor like you love yourself, which you should love your neighbor like you love God, that's it. Those are all the rules that you need to know. There's only two, man. There's only two commands, man, because that's what my Lord Christ said. My Lord Christ said there's only two. So you can always smack any lawyer, see right here, because a lawyer tried to tell him that. You can smack any lawyer in the face, and you can say, hey, man, there's only two rules to the realm, right? All laws hang off of these two rules right here, right? So if it doesn't trace back to love, right, and you're not getting back to love with any of the rules and the regulations that anybody's trying to show you, right, then you know that that's not God, right? That's not God. And then if you follow another rule that doesn't take you back to love, then that means that you're following Mammon, okay? Scary simple service, all right? You know, so that's it. I'm done. You know, I'm done. I'm going to go. I'm going to chill. I'll probably link these two together, and then we'll just call it a day, all right? You know, so you guys go have some fun. Fill out that JotForm, man. You know, you guys have a duty and obligation. Go walk through your maze, man. All right, I'll talk to you guys in the future. Remember, nobody's having more fun than us. Bye.